Today we're going to see just how easy it is to restore individual email messages in Exchange. This is very handy when any of your users accidentally delete mail or delete a folder containing mail and need to just simply restore just some of their mail. This is not a disaster recovery situation. This is individual email messages restored within Exchange. In order to do that, we're going to show just how easy it is to restore those messages without altering the Exchange server or shutting the Exchange server down during the restore process. We'll not be adding any mailbox stores to Exchange or recovery groups, so we will not be altering it. We'll not be using anything difficult such as EXMerge. We're just simply going to take a backup copy of the Exchange data, restore directly from it, and send the messages back to the Exchange users. Very simple, straightforward, and quickly, and Exchange is never altered or shut down in the process. So to begin with, what you need is a copy of Backup for Workgroups installed on your Exchange server, which we have here. We also need to make sure that Backup for Workgroups has an Exchange message restore license. So if you go to the Backup for Workgroups backup server and go to the clients, we're going to see that our user, our small business server 2008, has an Exchange message restore license. If not, you'll need to purchase the license, enter it into your backup server, and make sure that you select the Exchange message restore option for the user that is going to be installed on your Exchange server. Since we have this already set up and Backup for Workgroups has been backing up our small business server already, we can go straight to the Restore panel, go to the Exchange message button, and we can see that there's 3 basic steps in order to restore the Exchange messages. First thing you want to do is select the mailbox store. This is which date contains the messages that you want to restore. So typically, for example, if somebody has deleted email today, you're probably going to want to go to the last backup from yesterday or the day before when the message is still resided at the Exchange server. Second question is, are you restoring private data or public data? In this particular case, we're going to restore private data, which was email for a particular user. Next is that Backup for Workgroups is going to create a temporary copy of the selected mailbox store on your local hard drive. In this particular case, we're going to store it on the X drive. But if you have multiple drives, like in our case here, you could pick whichever drive you want. In our case, we're going to pick the larger drive. We now choose to create the temporary database. And what Backup for Workgroups does is it contacts the backup server and pulls a copy of that particular mailbox store, builds it out locally on the drives at the Exchange server in order to pull the email directly from that mailbox store. The time that it takes to do that process is going to be a function of how large your mailbox store is. In our particular case, this is a fairly small store, but in a typical case, it's going to restore that at a rate of about 1 gigabyte per minute. So if you have about a 15 or 20 gigabyte message store, it might take 15 or 20 minutes to perform that task. We're going to go and see, these are, again, this is a test Exchange server. It has a user Bob and a user Carl on it. And in the inbox, this particular mail server, as every day, always generates a summary of the network status and occasionally the detailed network status. And I'm going to go through and pick a few dates that I'd like to restore, with the presumption of, for some reason, I have accidentally deleted these messages from my mailbox store. Next, what we want to do is specify who we want to send those restored messages to. So we specify a mail recipient, and I'm going to choose support at lockstep.com. The mail server, which is in our case, our Exchange server, is SBS 2008. You would enter in the name of your Exchange server. Typically, it'll be pre-filled in for you. And last, you need an account that has the right to send the email to the mail server. This is usually a user within Active Directory that's a member of the Exchange servers group, and then enter their password. And you can test the server access by sending a test message to it. We will just simply go ahead and store this. After specifying the message recipient, we are now ready to begin the restore process. Press the Begin Restore, and what Backup for Workgroups will do is it will scan through the mailbox store, find the selected messages, and send them to the recipient's inbox. In our particular case, it only took a few seconds. Again, this is a relatively small mailbox store. In your case, it may take a few minutes for that process to complete. Now that the restoration is complete, we're going to switch over and take a look at the actual inbox and see how that looks. So I'm going to bring up my Outlook client here, as you can see in my remote desktop connection. And we're looking at the inbox, seeing that these messages that we selected are now showing up in the inbox. So this is a summary of the network report that we had restored, and I'll select another one. And and here's the detailed network report. And this is the information that we just restored. So what this shows is just how easy it is to restore individual email messages to Exchange users without interrupting Exchange server, without altering Exchange server, and all within just a few minutes using the Backup for Workgroups Exchange Message Restore. Thank you very much.